Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about what I've been doing, how my reading has been going. It is the middle of the year. I usually would do this earlier in July, but I've kind of disappeared a little. I think the weather has a lot to do with it, like the sun and how warm it is. I just want to go sit in the back garden and read a book. I don't want to film, I don't want to edit. We're going to just open the bullet journal and see where it takes us. The first page that I do have is my goals. My page goal was to read 40,000 pages. I am on track for this. I have read 22,000, which, I mean, half would be 20,000. So I am ahead for that. And my book goal was to read 100, which I'm at 54. So again, I'm over that halfway mark, so that's good. Those are my actual goals. That's my Goodreads goal, all that. On Storygraph, I do have a stretch goal of 120, and I think 50,000 pages for the page goal. Those are not my actual goals, the ones I've written down, and my Goodreads one is the one I want to stick to. I was kind of like, oh, I'll see if I can challenge myself. And I'm behind on those. I'm probably not going to catch up. I'm probably not going to do them. But I have kind of realized that I don't really care about at least the book one. The page one, like, I'm actually not doing too bad on 1,000 pages behind or something, which isn't that bad all things considered. Like, I could do that in a 24-hour readathon. I don't really care about like that stretch goal anymore, and I think next year I'm not even going to try with a stretch goal like that. I think maybe like the page count goal will like have a bit of a stretch one. Like, I think the 50,000 was probably a bit ambitious. I think I'm more aiming for like the 45,000, because then that averages out. If I read 100 books, it would average out to 450 pages per book. And I found last year my reading was atrocious. It was pretty bad. I did not have a good time. I had 6 5-stars for the entire year. It's not fun. And this year I am reading longer books, and I've gotten a lot more 5 stars. It's almost as if I like long books. So I think, you know, for my own self, like, having like a larger page goal makes more sense than having a larger like book goal, because like if I set it unrealistically, be like, I want to read 150 books this year, I'm going to read small books. I'm probably not going to enjoy them as much. Whereas if I like have a larger page goal, it's going to maybe like, you know, encourage me to read those bigger books. The actual goals we're going good for. Read 12 nonfictions. Again, I am on top of this. I have read one, I think, every month. So I've stayed on top of it. I'm pretty happy with that. If you have any nonfiction recommendations that you really like, I've kind of discovered that I don't necessarily think I'm a memoir person. The history, the women's history, like I read a music one, I've read a science one, like anything. It can be the most random topic. If you thought it was a good one, let me know. Read 24 books over 500 pages. Again, this kind of like what I was just ranting about. Like, I want to try and read bigger books, and that's the point of this, is that I would roughly be reading 2 big books every month. I'm already at 15, which is pretty good. I'm ahead of that as well, so yay for me. I had clear my entire physical TBR, or at least clear basically every book before December of this year, which obviously December hasn't rolled around, but like if I have books from Christmas when the end of the year comes, that's fine. And I'm not doing too bad. I think I have 15 books total. I'm in the middle of 2 of those, so hopefully in the next couple of those days that'll be down to 13. So I think that's pretty good, as long as I don't buy any more books. But I think I was at like 30 at the start of the year, so like I have like cleared 15, and that's including me continuously buying stuff as well. So I think I'm gonna count this as a win. Then I had read 60% of the books with my eyeballs, and I realized that I made this goal and then I didn't. A lot of the time I will read a book while listening to it at the same time, especially chunky ones, and I didn't know, am I counting that as eyeballs or ears, or like what way am I counting that? And so if we're counting that, because like I am reading it as well, then yes, I'm on track for this goal. If we're not counting that, then no, I'm not. But I don't really think I care about this, to be honest. I think I kind of just started making goals that I had no intention of keeping. And then we had make 78 videos. That was me being ambitious at the start of the year. I decided that I was going to post like 2 was too ambitious for me. So I was like, if I post like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and that would make it out to 78. And then I realized I don't want to do that. That's too much effort. That's too much work. This is not my job. This is never going to be my job. I don't want that. This is just me ranting to the abyss about books. I'm only going to do it when it's enjoyable. And that kind of like, I've disappeared for like 3 weeks, and in those 3 weeks I kind of was like, do I want to make videos? And I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, I do enjoy some videos. I hate editing videos, but I do enjoy making some videos. And I'm always going to love watching BookTube. Haul videos, TBRs, all of that stuff. I love making those videos. I love talking about that stuff. And again, when I read books, like anticipated releases and stuff like that, like I do want to talk about them. And like I don't have anybody like who's particularly bookish in my real life. I do want to talk about it and just like get my thoughts out there, just somehow, like, and yeah, basically over the past couple of weeks, I have been trying to figure out what I want to do BookTube wise, and like if I want to keep it up. And then I'm like, maybe I'll just like revive my Instagram. I did that like for a couple of years, tried maybe Bookstagram again, and then that way like I can still like rant about my feelings, but I won't have to edit videos, which I don't really enjoy that much. And then I'm like, does it matter? Like if I'm not like very consistent, as I said, this isn't a job. Like if I post 1 video a month, 2 videos a month, like, and then 1 month I post like 8, does it matter? I don't think it does. So I'm trying to kind of figure out what I'm doing with BookTube, or whether I want to like maybe try Bookstagram more, or like, I don't know what I want to do. Basically, that is all to say 78 videos is not happening. Then I had make a ranking video for 3 authors. This is another example of a video I love to make. I love these videos. I've made a load of them. Actually, my most viewed video on my channel is my ranking all of V. Schwab's book, which I would love to actually redo that video. I would have to reread all of her books, which, oh, that would be so hard. I'd love to do that. I'd love to reread it, like re-rank them, because that was before Addie LaRue, Bury Our Bones, Threads of Power, Gallant, Bridge of Souls. It was before a load of those came out. So like, I think, and also like Extraordinary. I'm not even sure that I include the original Shades of Magic comics in there, just by the fact I had read them. But like, there's so many more books that I could fit in there. I love those videos. I also have one for the entire Shadowhunter Chronicles. I have one, I think, for the entire Grishaverse, Alice Oseman's books. Who else? Naomi Novik's books, Rinch Pecco. I have a good few. I have a playlist. I'll leave them down below. I also, at the end of the year, again, another video I love, I rank every single book that I read in the entire year from 1 to like 120 or whatever the number is. I haven't made a single one yet this year, but I should hopefully. I have to sit down, and I think I'll actually have to write notes, which I don't write notes usually for my video. I'm going to do a ranking the Realm of the Elder Rings. I finished officially last month, so I have like the list, because as I was reading them, I was slotting them in. You know, like, oh, I liked it more than this, I liked it less than this. So I have what order, but I think I would have to like sit down and be like, okay, why did I like this one less, and all of that. I think also Rick Riordan, like the Percy Jackson universe, let's call it, like the mythology, well, no, because like he has other mythology that isn't technically still in the world. It's like Magna Chase and the Kane Chronicles and Heroes of Olympus, Trials of Apollo, obviously the Percy Jackson series, all of them fall within it. There's a couple of extra little things that I have to read for that, but I have to do some research, because I know some of those short stories, like I've read all of the novels, but some of those short stories are actually ghostwritten. They're not written by Rick Riordan himself. He gave the idea, somebody else wrote them, he like edited them, approved them. So I have to figure out, like, am I bothering with the short stories, or am I going to like try and read the ones that he's written? But I also would like to do that before the end of the year. And then I'm not sure who number 3 will be. Maybe N.K. Jemisin. I feel like she's probably the most likely option. But if there's any author who you would love to see me rank all of their books, let me know. Obviously, some authors, like, I can't just like snap my fingers and do it. Like, obviously, I think have like 3 books from N.K. Jemisin to read before I can do that video. I like, for example, like Brandon Thompson, if I wanted to do one for him, like I would have to decide, am I doing all of his books? Am I doing just the Cosmere? And even both of those options, I would have like 20 books to read. If you want me to do that though, I will. And then my last goal, which was not at all a book goal, but I did want to say it explicitly out loud, that I wanted to pass my driving test. And I did that. I did that back in January. So I did it very early on in the year. And I was like, oh my God, I'm setting myself up for success. Okay, my next spread in my bullet journal is my books that I owned prior to 2025. I had 26 books that I owned before the start of this year. I still have 10 of them left, which isn't great, but like also we're only halfway through the year. So like I've done more than half of those books. So we'll take that as a win. And I think 2 of them are definitely getting read this month. So that'll be another 2 down. So that'll be nice. Priority TBR, I had 10. I had Dragonflight by Emma Caffery, which I've read. The Principle of the Moments by Esme Chakemi Pearson, which I've read. I suppose I should give you ratings. Dragonflight, I gave 3 stars. Principle of the Moments, I gave it 2 stars. The Will of the Many, I have not read yet. The paperback is now out though, so hopefully soon I should read it. Shaman's Crossing by Robin Hobb. I haven't read that yet. I'm still recovering from Assassin's Fate, so that'll probably be a later in the year kind of a thing. Tuyo, I haven't read yet. Jade War, I'm almost finished that book, I swear. I feel like it's going to be a 4-star, but it could still be bumped up to a 5 depending on how it ends. The Sword of Summer by Brooke Riordan, I gave that a 3-star. The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackinson Bennett, I haven't read that yet, but I do own it physically now, so it should be read before the end of the year if I want to complete that other goal of reading my entire physical TBR. Valor by Jan Gwynne, I have read that. I will be reading Wrath this month. And then Seasonal Fears by Shauna Maguire, I haven't read either. Then my anticipated releases, I'm doing not great with, to be honest. I've only read 4 of them. Yeah, that's not good. So Adrift and Currents Clean and Clear was January. I've read that. Emily Wilde 3 came out in February. I haven't read that, but also I'm waiting for the paperback, which I think usually comes out in November-ish. So I'll read that when it comes out in November, is basically the vibe. Also out in February was the paperback of The Lightborn by Rebecca Zahabi, which I read and I gave that a 4-star. In March, The Tomb of Dragons came out, which I have read that. I gave that a 3-star. And Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green, I gave that a 5-star. I actually still haven't posted the video of me reading all of these books. I swear I have all of the clips. I have not edited them. Remember how I said how I hate editing? They have been sitting there for months. I started this vlog back in January when I read Adrift and Currents Clean and Clear. I have enough books read now to make it a video to post it, but I have not done it yet. I just have to edit it. You just have to edit it, Rebecca. April, Great Big Beautiful Life came out. I haven't read that yet. May, The Emily Adventures came out. Haven't read that. Everyone Wants to Rule the World Except Me. I haven't read that. June, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Sun came out. I have read that. Sounds Like Love. I haven't read that. And we're not going to talk about the rest of the year because that doesn't matter. I am currently reading 19 series, which isn't great. I do want that down. I think last year I had it, I think I started this year at 15 and I wanted it to be less. So that's not going well, but we're working on it. So let's talk stats. So at the halfway point, as I already said, I had read 22,389 pages across 54 books. I've listened to about 487 hours of audiobooks. 10 of my books were rereads. At the halfway point, I had 15 books on my physical TBR, which, if you want like a percentage of my bookshelves, is 96.25% of the books on my shelves are read, which is really good, but I do want it to be 100. So over the first 6 months, I read 19 audiobooks, 9 ebooks, 10 physical books, and 16 mixed. The audience for those books, 3 of them were middle grade, all of the rest of them were adult, so that's 51. But where I got these books from, 2 of them I got on Audible, 8 of them I got through my library, 10 I got through Everand, 5 I got through other ways. Usually that means that I bought the ebook because I don't consider an ebook me owning it. 29 of them were books that I owned. Though I will say sometimes I have or read them through multiple ways. Like I might own a book physically and then also get the audiobook on Everand or from my library, and I will still count that as owned. That is the first way that I got it. Series status wise, 13 of the books that I read were standalones, 16 of the books that I read were first books in the series, 19 books that I've read are continuations, and 6 of the books have been final books. Then for star rating, 12 of the books that I've read were not rated, which means they were either rereads or non-fictions. Given 1 book a 1 star, 5 books 2 stars, 13 books 3 stars, 15 books 4 stars, and 8 books 5 stars, which, remember how I said however long ago, I had 6 5 stars in the entirety of 2024. I've had 8 in 6 months. That's an average rating so far of 3.57. Genres, 1 was fantasy romance, 32 were fantasy, 3 were horror, 6 have been nonfiction, 4 have been romances, 8 have been sci-fi. We're gonna just run through the months. Like I'm not gonna go in deep. In January I read 8 books, February 9, March 15, April 8, May was my low point, I read 4, And then June, we got back on track and we read 10. And the pages that I read was 3,307. February was 3,884. March was 4,796. April was 3,397. May was 2,096. And June was 4,909. My best month, page count wise, is June. Best month book wise was March. I read 15 books. So I read 5 more books, but I read at like 1,000 and what? 13 less pages. I would prefer to have more pages than more books. We'll talk about like 5 stars. In January I had 2 5 stars. February I had 0. March I had 2. April I had 0. May I had 0. And then in June I had 4. I had 4. Insane. Also, I know that there's like a load of new versions of the book freakout tag that people have like just added arms and legs onto it. So I'm gonna just like quickly scan through and see if there's any questions that I care. Like, how has your reading gone? We've just basically gone through that. Best book that I read so far this year. I can tell you what my best book is. I can tell you already that nothing's topping it. This is going to be the best book when we come down to December and I'm doing my best books of the year. Oh, it's way too far. I'm not reaching that far up. It is, of course, Assassin's Fate. I have the entire video. Actually, no, I have to finish Jade War in order to post that video. But if you want to see me cry, stay tuned for that. Maybe I'll post just a picture, put a picture here. Favorite book of the year. Best book that you reread. Again, these are not the questions I've ever done before. Probably Memory of Souls by Jen Lyons. I'm currently making my way through my reread of that series, and Memory of Souls is my favorite book in that series. Best sequel I've read. I mean, Assassin's Fate is a sequel, so that would be it. Assassin's Fate is actually the only answer I can give, unless I'm going to go into the 4 stars, which I'm not. So, a new release you haven't read yet but want to. Again, we went through all of my anticipated releases that I haven't read yet. My most anticipated release for the second half. Now, that's a bit more of a tricky question. Final book in the Iron Crown series by Ella McCrae is coming out. That is an indie published series. I think it's fantastic. I am looking forward to that. I think the ebook comes out the end of July. The Art of Legend is coming out. I read the first 2 books in that series. Or no, I read the second book in this series earlier this year. I think I read the first one last year. And so I'm excited for that. That's the final book in the series, and it ended like on a bit of a cliffhanger. The final book in the Witchland series, which was like one of my favorite series when I started this channel. I still have a very soft spot for it. That is finally coming out this year in November. I am excited for it, but a bit nervous. But probably the one that I'm looking forward to the most is Queen Demon by Martha Wells. That is the sequel to The Witch King. It seems to be an unpopular opinion, but I love that book. Worst book that I read so far this year? Well, I've only given one book 1 star, and that was, what was the name of it? It is the first book in the Spinel Cove series by Tessa De Air. And I read it for a vlog where I read sequels to books that I read in other romance vlogs. Every year I do a romance themed reading vlog when it is February. So the first year I did contemporary, then I think I did fantasy romance, dark romance, historical romance. And so I took a book / series, companion novels, whatever, from each of those years, and I read the sequel or whatever. And this was actually the first book in the series. I actually read the second book for the historical romance reading vlog last year, and it was my favorite book out of that video. It was like kind of silly and goofy and a bit ridiculous and over the top, but I had a really fun time with it. I gave it a 4 star, and I went back, read this, and I hated it. I hated it so much. It gave me the major ick, and it also made me like retroactively like the second book less, because there was one character who was obsessed with this idea of like masculinity and manliness. It was like the male love interest a bit. He wasn't as bad with it, but like he was still pretty annoying about it. Like his cousin, I think it is, was like really bad and like gave me such a major ick. And it was about, I'd say probably 2/3 of the way through it, when this like cousin character had an interaction with the character that I was like, oh yeah, that's the character from the second book. And I realized, no wait, this is the male love interest. This guy that I have been hating for the past like 200 pages is the guy that I loved in the second book. No. The biggest disappointment, I don't think there's anything, but I could be wrong. Surprised I don't really care about that. New favorite author. I don't think anybody has gotten added to the list. Oh, actually, biggest surprise, going back, I was like, oh, I don't care about that question. Biggest surprise, River Enchanted by Rebecca Roth. I gave that book 5 stars. Never in a million years would I thought it. I hated Queen's Rising. I thought it was one of the most boring books ever. River Enchanted, I was captivated. I was enthralled. I had such a good time with it. Is it a bit insta-lovey? Absolutely. Did I care? No. A book that made you cry? Most beautiful book I've bought this year. Now this is a good question. I don't think I've pre-ordered a lot and ordered a lot, and I have stuff coming to me throughout the entirety of the rest of the year. But like right this second, I haven't got that many. I might do a short where I compare all of the editions, but I have gotten so far 2 gorgeous editions of Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil. As I said, I think I might do, like, when I get the Illumicrate one, whenever that is, I think I might do a video where I compare the Illumicrate, Peerlute, and Alacrate. But like, look at this case. I did take the dust jacket off because I liked the kind of like bone on bone. This I think is my favorite like dust jacket. Obviously, like, this has a gorgeous slipcase, and I love the sprayed edges on this more than I love the sprayed edges on the other one. So like, I think when I get the Illumicrate one, would you be interested in seeing me like compare and contrast them all? I have so many more coming. I have the Illumicrate Farseer, I have the Broken Binding Broken Rose series, I have the Kickstarter version of the Nicholas Atwater and Olivia Atwater book. I have the Kickstarter edition for the Sword of Kaigan, and also for Blood Over Brighthaven, and also I have the Broken Binding Blood Over Brighthaven, and I also have I'm forgetting stuff. No, as I said, I also have the Illumicrate edition of Bury Your Bones coming. And yeah, the rest of the questions I don't really care about that much. So I think hopefully that'll kind of cover. If there's anything else you want to know about my mid-year reading, let me know. So yes, so thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.